months. Now, let's assume that they're ready to go to step number 2 to evaluate the information. What are they going to evaluate? Well, what they're going to evaluate is videos and PowerPoint presentations. The videos and the PowerPoint presentations that are being utilized by the team. You want them to evaluate it. And evaluating these two things, along with potential questions at the end, is going to take about 30 minutes. That's why you set the expectation on the front end that you're going to need about 30 minutes. Now, it's very important when you go through the evaluation that you have an active evaluation. So there's two ways to do it. You can do it actively or you can do it passively. Passively is where you give somebody your website address and you say, hey, just go to my website and watch this video and this PowerPoint. Well, you have zero control. They're going to go home. If they even sit down and look at it, guess what's going to happen? They're going to go home, they're going to sit down, pull up their computer, pull up your website, and as they start to look at it, the phone rings. And so they put it on pause. They take the call. Or maybe they don't put it on pause and they take a 2 or 3 minute call and miss a major portion of what the business is all about. Or perhaps the wife or the husband yells down to them or up to them, hey, I need you for something. The kids come running in. Mom, Dad, the dogs are barking. All sorts of distractions. And then when you talk to them afterwards, they say they evaluated it, but guess what they saw? They saw a portion of it. That's not the proper way to evaluate. You want to be actively evaluating information. That means you're either with them in person or on the phone while they evaluate it. So literally, many times I call people and I have them on the phone, they're in front of their computer, and I sit quiet while they watch the video, and then when they go through the presentation, they either go directly through it or I take them through it. And then at the very end, I say, hey, just go to the very top of the website and click the link right there where it says to join and get started. Let's help you get started in your business right now. And I always say the same thing. Let's help you get started in your business right now. And I always say right now because many times people are ready to get started. And if they're not, guess what happens? They say, hey, I've got a few questions. And then they ask the questions. This is where step 3 comes in, which is validation. Validation is where you answer their questions before they get started. And if you can't answer the questions, guess what you do? You call immediately and you 3-way online one of your upline leaders, one of the people on your team. It could be somebody cross-line, it could be somebody downline, it doesn't matter who it is, but you try to get one of your leaders on the team, introduce them, edify your leader to the person who is evaluating the information, and then let them answer the questions. As soon as they're done, ask your prospects, say, hey, do you have any additional questions? They say, no, that's all my questions. Say, great. Go to the top of the website, let's click the link right there, and let's get your business started right now. Just go on and assume they're ready to get started. If for some reason they're not, they will let you know, which normally means they still have more questions, at which time you ask them, hey, obviously if you're not prepared to get started, you still have a few questions. Can we get those answered for you right now? I like to use that term right now because it's an action command and it gets people to take action right away. For some people, they're just not ready to get started. That's okay. Say, well, I'll tell you what. Say, why don't you let me know when's a good time that I can get back with you. If you got a time right now, we'll write it down and commit to that. If not, I'll give you a call back in the next 24 or 48 hours and we can get back and review any additional questions that you may have. But the important part is that 4-step process, that you approach them properly on the front end. Hey, I've got something that's really exciting to me, it's very important to me, and I want to share this with you. They're going to say, what's it all about? I need 95% visual, I need 30 minutes of your time. You get them to commit to that time where you sit down with them and have them evaluate the proper information actively, not passively. If they're prepared to get started, you go ahead and get them started. If not, step number 3, validation. Answer their questions. You do it personally or get one of the people on your team to assist you to answer those questions. Of course, once they're answered, assume that they're ready to get started, have them go to the link and sign up and get started. And then for the ones that do, step number 4, you get them started in the business, close them, get them started in the business, and guess what you do? You teach them the same 4 steps that you just did. And the best part is when you first contacted them, if you're duplicating the system right, they already know how to do it because you did it for them the way they're going to do it for their prospects. That's why duplication is important, because the minute you call somebody to prospect them, to approach them, you're educating. As you're prospecting them, you're educating them on how to prospect. As you help them evaluate the business, you're educating them on how to help people evaluate the business. As you help validate the opportunity, you're educating them on how to validate the opportunity. As you're helping close them and get them set up in the business right now, you're educating them on how to close people and get their people set up in the business right now. You see the congruency in leadership that we talked about earlier with leadership? Now we're talking about duplication, leading by example, doing it consistently over time. 4 simple step success system. It's very simple, it's very easy. Master this information, your top 1%, within the next 2 to 5 years, you're earning a healthy 6-figure income, and a few of you, if you're massively prospecting and you're massively helping your team to build, you're at the 7-figure income level. There's really no secret to it. Just follow these simple few steps.